Hi guys, so I realized that my other video that I made was A, really long, and B, very frank. Um, I'm extremely comfortable with talking about the female reproductive system, uteruses, bleeding, periods, cups. I'm not afraid to talk about all that stuff, so forgive me in advance for all my frankness. I'm just gonna say it like it is, and some of it I have funny names for, which might make you giggle. So, first of all, what is a menstrual cup? Menstrual cups and menstrual discs are an invention that has been around since the 1920s. This is not a new concept. This has been around since the roaring 20s. They used to be made of rubber, latex rubber, I think, and they were brown and ugly and stiff and huge. But they were being used back then. So, a menstrual cup is generally this shape. Think wine glass, but fancy. I've actually heard them called a vampire's wine glass if we're gonna be goofy and joke. So this is probably gonna be one of my favorite menstrual cups. I just got this one. It is brand spanking new and has never been in my body, so she's gonna be our example for the day to teach with. And it has a lot of similar qualities to my other cups that I do have as favorites, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like this one. So there's this shape here. I have a lower, medium to low cervix, so I have a tendency to steer towards soft, squat, wide, short cups, like a cauldron type shape, which is what this is, or more bell shape, they say. So that's one. We've got another type of cup here, which is the same idea, but this is meant for somebody who has a very high cervix. You may have seen her before. She's the Diva Cup. This is what you see at Walgreens or CVS. And yes, they are. You can just go get one. So if you're on the fence or don't know anything about cups, you could always, out of curiosity, just go grab one of these off the shelf, come home and play with it, and just see what it's about and put it places. put put it inside and see what it's about. I personally don't like this cup only because it's incredibly long and I don't have the body shape for that on the inside, so you can see the difference. One is fat, squat, and short like a cauldron. That's my type. The other one is more thin, long, and tall. That's good for someone with a high cervix. How do you know what kind of cervix you have? Well, the easiest way to describe a cervix, if you have not seen one or do not know where it is, we've got our reproductive system here. We got ovaries and a uterus, and then that's the direction the blood flows. Here's a little cup inside the vagina cavity. And then we've got the cervix here, this lump here, this hill. That's your cervix. Think of this as the chandelier. I heard somebody explain it to me that way and I can't ever unhear it. The chandelier of the vagina. So, easiest way to find out what kind of cervix you have. Take a finger, wash it with soap and water, and put it up there. And feel around. This is going to be the cervix for today. Feel around for this hard marble feeling thing that you can put your finger all the way around like this. That's your cervix. What the easiest way to figure out if you got a high or low cervix, at least for me, take the finger, go all the way up to the cervix and just poke it, and then stop. As you're on the outside of your body, take notice of where your finger, like how far your finger is going into your body. I kid you not, take a Sharpie and give a little mark so that when you pull your finger back, you can see how long exactly the inside of your body is. Guess what? You just figured out how long of a cup you can take. So, for example, my cervix goes up to perfectly 2 knuckles. I have kind of a medium to low cervix. If it goes to 1 knuckle and you can already touch your cervix, or half or two, this is pretty medium to low. If you go all the way up to your finger and you still can't feel your cervix, if you fish around in there and you can't find a damn thing, you got a really high cervix. Or you don't know that you're feeling your cervix. It feels like a marble. It'll feel hard when you're bleeding or softer when you're not. But it really does feel like a marble, and it hangs up from the ceiling, if you will, like a chandelier. So you should be able to fish around and feel where it is, and then measure on your finger how long you need it to be. So because my chandelier, if you will, only goes up to 2 knuckles, guess what? So does my favorite cup. So that's pretty accurate. That's one of the ways that I use. And if you're a Diva Cup user, see how much farther it goes? A little too tall for me. So that's one easy way to find out, do you need a tall cup or a short cup? There are other things besides a menstrual cup to use. Sorry, the word flew out of my head. And that's a menstrual disc. A menstrual disc is a lot of fun. This one's by Intimina. I keep this for emergencies in my purse. I hardly ever use this because I personally don't like discs. Only because I'm a cup lover and I won't go back. But menstrual discs are also silicone usually, reusable, washable, and foldable. These are a little more simple, but they're trickier to me personally. I don't like them. They're too finicky, they're too difficult, they leak a lot easier, they shift around and goof off inside of your body. But that's me. That might just be the way that I'm shaped inside and it just isn't working out. So usually a cervix will sit in one place while you're bleeding. Some people, they move up and down. That might be an issue for a disc. Who knows? When you have a disc, generally it's the shape of an egg. You take the point of the egg, pinch the point, put the point in like it's a tampon, keep going, keep going. This corner here should go in and up behind your pubic bone. So your pubic bone will sit right here, keeping it from coming out. The thing that I found the most difficult with cups is my cervix is ornery. She likes to dance. So sometimes my cup would go proper like it's supposed to, and then it can bleed into the cup here. Sometimes, though, I would aim too high towards the small of my back, and my cervix is underneath the cup, and therefore it's not working at all, and it will just leak right next to it and out on my body. So when you're playing with these, just use a pad as backup so you can catch yourself if you leak and try again. Don't get too cocky in the beginning thinking you did it right. It takes a few times of figuring out what your cervix is up to. Mine's ornery. Mine likes to dance. Mine likes to try not to get in the cups. So I'll show you how you can figure that out. Menstrual discs are a little bit harder in my opinion. And that's just because of how they're shaped and you have to sit them behind your pubic bone, and some people that doesn't work out well. Excuse me. So, cup. How to put it in. First of all, you figured out where your cervix is. We want the cervix to go in the cup, like this. So when you are sitting with it in your body, your cervix, your little chandelier, is sitting in the cup. And whatever comes out of your uterus is up in the cup. If your cervix is like this, it ain't gonna work. So here's how to figure out which way to put it in. There's a couple different folds. I use what's called the punch down fold. So you take your finger and smoosh one half of the cup into itself. So you got the corner down at the bottom, and you hold that end here. You got a cute little tulip shape. It goes into your body. You go all the way up to your fingertips, let go, and it pops open. And then you kind of scoot it a little bit farther up, so that way only the tail is hanging out. If the rings here are hanging out of your body, you have too tall of a cup, and you need a shorter cup or a wider, fatter one. I would suggest Meluna, which is a good brand, or this one's a nice fat short cup called Salt with 2 A's. Something like that. If your cup has the tail hanging out or no tail hanging out, then you're fine. Don't worry about it. So the cup is inside of your body here. Once the cup is inside of your body, you want to take a finger and go up into your body and feel all the way around the cup. So basically, the cervix is sitting in here. My finger goes all the way around this cup inside my body, and that way I can feel, is the cervix in or not? If the cervix is not in the cup, I'm going to find out pretty quick because my finger will come around and hit my cervix, and I'm like, oh, you little sneaky bugger. And usually what you do is just pull out the cup a little bit, and then it'll flick the cervix back in and then push it back up. Feel one more time. Okay, it's in. We're good. If you're having trouble getting your cervix into your cup, you might need a different shape or softness or firmness, what have you. If that's happening, just send me a message and I'll try and troubleshoot with you, because I've got 13 cups and I've been doing this for 10 years. I got some experience. I've done a lot of troubleshooting, and especially I have some very strange looking cups and very alien shapes that I've worked with too, not just your standard. So Let's see. So we got the punch down, take one end, smoosh it inside, grab it, hold it, pops open. If you have a very soft cup, like the Super Jenny is what I have as far as soft cups, or Seabell. If you have a soft cup, there's a possibility that pushing it all the way down to the bottom might make it get stuck there, and then while it's inside you, it just doesn't want to pop out. If that happens, you can always pinch right here where you know that corner is and try to wiggle it and it'll pop open. Or sometimes I can get away with grabbing the bottom here and pushing on the corner here, and that'll make it pop open that way, which is a little more violent. Sometimes that hits me in the bladder and it's like, oof. So be careful. If you know that the cup you have gets stuck on the punch down, the easiest way to stop that from happening is don't punch down so far. On my Super Jenny, which is my softer cup, it's this shape, this size, but blue and a different company. It's very soft. I only go down to here where the rings start. I don't go all the way down here. So I just go kind of halfway down, hold it like that, put it in, and it pops open no problem. So sometimes just don't go down as far and you won't have such an issue. The other fold is called a 7-fold. You take the top rim on the corner and stick it to the bottom and hold it in place. Again, nice tulip shape. Goes inside your body up until you hit your fingers, and then you let go and it'll pop open, give it a little wiggle. Ta-da. I can do the 7-fold. I don't like it as much. I don't like it as much because of my dancing cervix likes to try and get out of the cup while it's unfolding, whereas the punch down, it kind of already has that beginning going on, like that. The 7-fold, maybe not so much. It's a little harder, but that's just me. My cervix likes to dance around and trying to play hooky, and not want to play nicely. So that's up to you, how you want to do it. So there's the 7-fold. It's called so because it's shaped like a 7. Very easy, very slim. So if you're having troubles with it being too fat around the top, this one's a good one. It's nice and slim. The other one that people use, which is pretty effective, is the C-fold. Pretty self-explanatory. You just hold it by the bottom, stick it in, let go. That one's pretty violent when it opens, depending on your cup. You just heard it. It sounds pretty violent. It kind of is. If you have a sensitive bladder, this one will punch you right in the bladder and make you feel like you have to pee. Sometimes it hurts. If you're a teenager, you're more petite on the inside, this can be a little too violent for you. Try it out. See what happens. Try it out at home so that way you don't yelp in the public bathroom. I personally don't like the C-fold because it hits me in the bladder and it hurts. So that's 3 ways to fold it. How to remove it. So it's inside of your body. Take the tail, kind of like a tampon, give it a yank. Don't be afraid to crank on these things. They're really attached on there. There's only a couple brands I know that have a weak tail, and I think they're working on fixing that. So you pull it down enough to where you can feel the ridges here. Pinch and pull. Once you pull, it'll come out, and conveniently, you are already holding your cup, and you won't get things everywhere because you're just holding your cup now. Empty it in the toilet. If you have to, you can take toilet paper and clean it up a little bit. If you're in like a public bathroom without a sink, you can do that. Personally, I don't see the point. It's going right back inside my body. Who is it getting cleaned for? So I don't really bother with trying to make it squeaky clean before I put it back in. I just try to get it majority the way clean. Just roughly, okay, that's good enough. We're going to put it back in. Remember, you don't have to wash it off and sterilize it every single time you change it because you're just going to put it back in for 7 more days. So that's one way to remove. Sometimes if I have a stronger cup, I pull down and I put my finger up inside and push this down here so that it doesn't punch my bladder on the way out. Just be careful though, if you're going to do it this way, when you pull out like this, your cup is predispositioned to fling downwards like that, which is great if you're over a toilet and you're prepared for it. So be careful because this one here will fling down immediately. Most of the time, I do it this way because I want to be holding the cup and be in control of the cup and pour it. Be careful when you are holding your cup if you have wet hands, um, or the cup is wet. Sometimes these cups, if they're thicker or firmer, can get really overzealous. Only one circumstance in 10 years have I had a cup leap out of my hands and dance across the floor in my own house, which was really fortunate. So if you've got a really stiff cup or a springy cup, keep good grab on those rings or that tail. Get it, really grab onto it just in case. You don't want to be in a public bathroom and then lose your cup to the floor and now you can't sterilize it and put it back in your body because ew, that can be a butt. That's as far as cups go. Let's see. I did want to throw it out there that there are pads that you can use that are made of cloth, and I wanted to throw that out there because I usually use both. Excuse me. I use the pad as a backup. Cloth pads are awesome. They're comfortable. They're not noisy. They're not sticky. They don't stick to the inside of your leg. They have wings. The wings snap around the back with a regular plastic snap. There we go. Just like that. And then this part faces you. They're made of flannel, cotton, minky, really soft material. This one's flannel. I like flannel because I live in Florida and it gets hot and I don't want a hot, disgusting, sweaty jungle in my pants. So this is nice and cool in the summer. When you wash these, do not use fabric softener in the dryer with these. So the fabric has tiny holes in it. It's flannel or cotton. The holes are what absorbs what comes out of you. If you clog this with the waxy substance that's in fabric softener, you have just ruined your pad and there's hardly any way to get it back to functionality. Do not ever use fabric softener on your cloth menstrual pads, period. End of story. Wash it with a Tide Pod in the laundry like you normally do or whatever. Just don't put it in the dryer. I would just hang it up. You can put them in the dryer if there is no fabric softener in there, but I use a laundromat, so I don't have that luxury, and I don't trust that there isn't already fabric softener from someone else's laundry load, so I just hang them on the clothesline outside, and they dry in the sun. Thicker pads may take a little longer to dry, so make sure you feel them before you put them away. Inside these pads is something called Zorb, which is an absorbent material. So it doesn't look like it, but this pad could probably hold pretty heavy flow for about 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours. A lot better than a regular conventional pad. If you are postpartum or you just bleed like crazy, they make big boys too. This is my hand. They make big boys. This is, I think, a 14-inch pad or a 12-inch pad, and it's thick. She's thick. This could hold an incredible amount. I don't think I've ever bled hard enough to soak one of these before, so you'll be okay. This is so much more comfortable. I used to bleed very heavy. I don't bleed as heavy now because I've been on birth control for 15 years. But as a teenager, my God, these would have been so much nicer than the practical diapers that I was wearing to survive the day. And the same thing with cups. They would have been a lifesaver as a kid. So I wanted to put that out there. Let's see. The only thing I can think of left is cup stiffness. If you have strong pelvic floor muscles, you're a teenager, young adult, young 20s, never had kids before, you might be okay with a stiffer cup. If you've had kids or you have a weak pelvic floor, if you don't like things pushing up against your bladder because it makes you feel like you have to pee every 5 seconds even though you don't, that means you need a softer cup. I personally need a softer cup because my bladder can be sensitive. So keep that in mind. If you're very active, if you've got strong muscles on the inside, if you're petite, it's possible that your cup may be held in a folded position just because it needs to be stronger to counteract your body and what it's doing. If your cup is too stiff, it may end up hurting your bladder or making it feel like you have to pee all the time, and you might need a softer cup. I learned that the hard way. I got a couple of cups that I just will not use flat out because they are too stiff and they're not comfortable and they kind of suck. Not the company, it's just me because it's what I personally specifically have to have. Okay, that's all that I can think of. The only other thing that might be tempting for some of you is compact. Some cups are compact and they can be stowed away in your purse for emergencies, and then you can use them however you need to in order to get through the day because of some surprise that may have happened. So keep that in mind. This is called an Intimina Lily Cup Compact. I had this as a teenager, young adult, and this was awesome. I wish I would have had this in middle school. It would have saved me a lot of grief. But it comes in a little, almost looks like a lip balm container, and it snaps closed. It's got little holes on one side for airing it out in there, and you just slip it in your pocket, and somebody will probably think that it's lip balm. That's pretty awesome. When it comes to cleaning your cups, do not bleach them unless you absolutely have to. I recommend using something like this that I just got. This I got with my new cup. It's a steamer. So you take your cup and you put it inside of the steamer with some water. Your cup sits in here face down, open side down. You push the button and you walk away. As soon as it's done, you're ready to use it. It's nice and sterilized. Or if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, take your cup, put it in take your cup, put it in a pot of boiling water and sit there and watch it the whole time, or you will melt your cups to your pot. I've seen that happen too many times on Facebook groups and forums. Watch the pot. Don't walk away from it. Another easy way, this is even easier than everybody else, get a collapsible silicone cup that you could put your menstrual cup in and make sure the open side faces up so that the air bubbles can get out of there and the whole thing is underwater. Fill it to the brim, put it in the microwave for like 3 to 5 minutes, depends on what your manufacturer of your cup says. Each one's different. And then it's sterilized, and then you can collapse it back down. This is great for hotels and traveling too. I've had this a long time. I just don't use it anymore because I usually sterilize my stuff at home. And that's about it. I wouldn't bleach your cup unless it has fallen into the toilet water or touched poo or something disgusting. You honestly don't need bleach. You just need boiling water and once in a while wash it with dish soap. These are great for the holes on the cups. Clean the holes on the cups whenever you're done with your period every time. And then this will clean those little areas that you can't get to easily, because you don't want to have old stuff hanging out in the holes that can cause a yeast infection or what have you. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. This is the quickest introduction. I have a much longer video up that you can view, and it tells you about each and every one of my 13 cups, what I like and dislike, how to use them, troubleshooting, all that kind of thing, what you're looking for. If you have questions, just find a way to get to me and let me know. I'll be happy to tell you more. And happy cup hunting. Thanks for watching.